They're saying that, well, they're calling it that it's a Russian missile, and I presume the implication is they're accusing the Russians of supplying Russian missiles to the rebels in the Ukraine.
This is not the first time Owen Corrie's civilian aircraft has been shot down.
We too in the 80s. We discovered very quickly when the Americans shot down an Iranian plane, and when the old Soviet Union shot down a South Korean craft, because it was done by an armed force. Our real difficulty here is we have 5 different armed forces groups in that area. Yeah. 3 of them have access to missiles, maybe more. Their claim and counterclaim is quite dramatic. Gerashenko, the commander, is supposed to have tweeted that he'd shot down a Ukrainian aircraft, and at the same time that MH17 was hit. So the Ukrainians are saying this is an example. They obviously shot this down by mistake. They've also released taped transcripts at this stage. But everything in this little war has been so outrageously spun and so contradictory that, as Francesca says, it's going to be a guessing, and we may never know that this was shot down, because they can't. It's down now over 8 hours, and the Ukrainians haven't secured the site.
Of all the places in the world to fly into to start an argument about who did what, you could hardly pick anywhere worse than the border of
and
Ukraine.
What they were doing overflying that region is the big question.
You're involved in air transport journalism. What were civilian aircraft doing in this?
Because it was safe, Tom. It was safe up to 7,000 feet, and then they put a margin of error in it. And everybody says a shoulder-held missile, which is the most technology a separatist group would have, wouldn't reach it. It's very, very high, even for a ground-to-air missile, a properly fired Buk missile. So the immediate allegation was it was an air-to-air missile, but it is technically both a shoulder-held and
the Buk missile, BUK.
Yeah, and there are 50 of them there, and in Ukrainian hands, and some of them apparently have fallen into separatist hands. And the allegation which the Americans have said, oh, definitely, are quite conclusive on this. They have been making the allegation for a little time now that the Russians are arming separatists, and they will come straight in and say, you've been arming them with this missile. The conclusive evidence that anyone is producing in such an atmosphere of contradiction and counterclaim and claim, I would be very, very questioning.
We're going to have to take a break. As far as we know, and we were checking with proper foreign affairs, there were no Irish passengers on the aircraft. We'll continue with a look at the papers after the break and get some of your texts and tweets.